Endless Multiverse. Endless Multiverse. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Endless Multiverse, episode number 9, with me, Chainsaw, and Andy. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're representing Batman tonight, and I'm representing a little bit of Ahsoka too, but you know. How are you doing, Andy?
Tired. It was a long week. What about you?
Yeah, had some stuff going on. I won't mention it, but had some interesting revelations occurring, especially during Flash this week in terms of watching live and during a break, seeing something on Twitter. But yeah, that'll be for a later date. But it's been a pretty tame week, especially for news. There's not been a lot of news, which is unfortunate because I like it when we have a discussion before the show and everything about, so what are we going to cover? Usually we have to go, well, what are we going to keep? What are we not going to keep? At this point, we're grasping for something. Like, come on, something, please drop. But yeah, I think we got some interesting things still to talk about this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, like the news, I think is just as a way kind of to warm up the show a little bit, also because and also like, just give opinions on it. Because sometimes if there is big films or TV shows we're following, and that I know some of your viewers watch and so on, that that might there's no reason we shouldn't talk about it. But this week it was definitely just a little different, I guess. But I mean, there's still it's not been a quiet news week. It's just been like in terms of like nerd stuff, it's just been a little more quieter than usual. So
yeah, hopefully news will pick up. There's rumors of a Thor: Love and Thunder trailer next week.
they keep. I feel like we keep hearing about it every week.
Yeah, people are thinking it's going to be Monday. They're going to drop a trailer. We'll see. Are we ready to jump into topics and just get into this thing? Because we have things to discuss.
All right, let's go for it.
Constantine, take us away.
All right, then. On with the show.
On with the show. Indeed, if you could pull up the graphics, sir. This dropped today, and I was like, what? Aqualad TV show is coming. This is pretty crazy for HBO Max. It's been in development. Now, obviously, in development doesn't mean necessarily it's going to happen, but it's more likely it's going to happen, especially with the announcement of Charlize Theron executive producing this. And they're titling it You Brought Me the Ocean, which is the same name as the DC young adult graphic novel by Alex Sanchez and Jill Morrow. Is that how you pronounce that? I think.
I'm not sure. Maybe the H is silent.
Oh, okay. So as we see here on screen, You Brought Me the Ocean follows Jake Hyde. Is that Hyde? I think it's Hyde, yeah. Who doesn't swim but moves to college on the coast. There's nothing safe about Jake's future, not when he's attracted to swim. Team captain Kenny Liu, although he struggles to come out, but Jake is full of secrets, including the strange blue markings on his skin that glow when in contact with water. What power will he find when he searches for his identity? And will he turn his back to the current or dive headfirst into the waves? So this is interesting, and especially with what happened this week, the ending, which is kind of crazy to say the ending, with the ending of the Young Justice Phantom Season 4 arc of Aqualad, and now we're getting this. I think this is going to be interesting. I do think this is going to be obviously not the same Aqualad and Aquaman we've seen from Young Justice, or at least there is an interpretation. Obviously, I feel like they're probably going to make it different so that people don't go, oh, okay, they just took from what Young Justice did to make it for people to go with it. I feel like this is interesting for sure. I wasn't honestly expecting this. I thought Aqualad was going to be appearing in Aquaman at some point. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually that character would realistically appear, you would think, in the Aquaman films. But doing this, unless they say this is connected, but there's nothing saying that. But maybe there is a connection to Aquaman. I'm not sure. How do you feel about it? Because this came out of left field.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, for me, I know for a lot of fans, it's there's a lot of importance when it comes to things being tied in the same world or whatever and so on. But I think at this point, because even the book is, it's like its own thing. They have the Black Label division, they have the Wonder Comics division, they have, the alternate Earths and the Multiverse and so on. So I mean, it would shock me if it actually is tied to Aquaman, because if it happened, I'm pretty sure James Wan would have been at least an EP, and he's not. So I think this is just, that's the thing. Not everything has to be part of the same universe. I think when it comes to HBO Max, so I think they're trying to hey, we're gonna try to do the best part that we can, and you know, and I haven't read this book, but obviously Jake Hyde. I mean, that's the thing. Jackson Hyde and Jake Hyde are like basically the same character, but he kind of like just one show. I think Junk just kind of renamed him, and then for the comics later on, I think for DC Rebirth and so on, now they're kind of the same character. It's a little confusing, but like they're definitely the fact that he's openly gay, whatever, and so on. I think that it's obviously they're pulling it from Junk Justice and so on. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see what they will do with this. I think it will be, if they're keeping it for like a teenage demographic, I think that will be good for them to be able to see something of that content on the HBO Max. And so far, a lot of the shows on HBO Max are like very adult, very dark. So, so I think this will be interesting. But yeah, they did kind of come out of I mean, again, I don't think it was. I don't know if it like. I think it was just a coincidence that it came out like right after Young Justice had aired. So,
yeah, I just found the timing. I mean, I'm not saying that like they took advantage of it, but I mean, a lot of people do watch Young Justice, so I wouldn't be surprised if they went. A lot of people are talking about Aqualad, Aquaman right now. Calder, let's make this announcement like right around the time. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think. We'll see what they do with it. Obviously, it's in development. It does not confirm that it's happening. It's just they're developing it. They're working on it. It does not mean HBO will move forward. But more likely, they'll probably at least give it a season, and or go from there.
It could be a limited event series for all we know. Like that's the thing. But the good thing with HBO Max now is that because it is becoming more. I don't know if every country has it, but I think that most countries at this point they are now at this point. Like they have access to it, or if I think in Canada, for example, I think Peacemaker, for example, airs on like a Canadian channel instead of having it on HBO Max. So like it's these shows are accessible, and like so I think that's why I think they. I mean, it had more chance of getting a season 2 on HBO Max than it would on CW because CW just doesn't seem to.
Yeah, I
know what's going on with them right now. So
who knows? So speaking of CW, we have more Superman and Lois confusion, and Andy here has pulled the receipts, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't do all of it because if I did it, we would be here for 4 hours, and Andy does just not have time for it. And also, here's the thing: this is not me trying to expose anyone or anything like that, because I mean, yeah, we usually see it as like a fun little term, but yeah, this is just okay. So let's just get into it. So last week was the annual WonderCon in Anaheim event, and actually in person this year. So Superman Lois was one of the shows to attend, and Naomi was also there, and Kung Fu, which was great. And during the panel at Superman Lois, Todd Helbing, who's the showrunner for Superman Lois, he was asked it was the final question by the moderator, asking, what other chances, because everyone, because he was asked, interesting, hey, you guys didn't ask this, so I'm gonna ask it for you. But what are chances that we may actually, I don't know, get it, that Clark gets a text from Kara, or that he, like what, like in terms of just asking a little bit more, like what's going on in terms of Arrowverse connection and so on. And
we actually have the clip if you want to play Todd's, or do you want to go into other stuff first, or do you want to play the clip?
Let's play the clip so that everyone can get the full content. This was from what's the name of
this is WonderCon, and this is where the panelists ask. It starts right where the panelists ask about Kara texting Clark. And let's get into it and let's play it.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I will click.
Any chance of like at least Clark getting like a text from Kara?
She's right here.
Yeah, she's right there. Yeah. All I'll say is, I think, look, everybody has this question, like, why aren't we bringing up Supergirl or Flash or any of the other heroes? And aside from us not being able to do crossovers and wanting to put our own stamp on this property, I'll just say that at the end of the season, you'll get the answer to the questions that you guys have.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
You're so frustrated.
I'm frustrated with how fans perceive this because this is why I hate social media for most of the part because like okay, and the reason we played it so that you could see body language, you could hear his voice, you can see what the other actors were saying and laughing at, what the moderator was saying, what the audience was reacting, and okay, so I want to hit myself with something, but so now what has caused is that okay, so this is all he has said so far. We're gonna bring up a couple quotes later on, and there's links to them in the show notes, so don't worry about that. But what this has now caused online, of course, because some people with loud mouths that shouldn't be talking are now proposing once again that maybe this is, they're going to reveal that this isn't in the same universe as the other Arrowverse shows. And I wanted to kill myself because I was just like, this is just, I'm like, just put me in the ground now because I cannot deal with this nonsense anymore. And so, again, this quote could mean 10,000 different things. Okay, maybe not 10,000, maybe 10 different things. Because the show is not that big. It's not going to end the world if it's whatever. So do we want to address what he has said previously, or do we want to give our theories first, or kind of comments on that?
Like what he just said, like
what he just said.
Okay. I have one big thing to say. Because throughout the panel, if you watch the panel, he is talking about putting a stamp on this show in terms of making it what it is. That's completely fine. I have no issue with that. My problem is why is that a part of the answer about is it connected to the Arrowverse? I don't care about so much your stamp, because you can do that without having to say, well, that's a part of the reason why we haven't really addressed the Arrowverse. No. Like this is it. Like this is not it. Like it's not its own thing. It's not. I'm sorry. Like it is a part of a shared universe. To say, well, we're trying to put a stamp on it, and you'll find out. Like, I just don't like that he's being so vague about it. And of course, he's teasing. In the season, you'll find out. Well, I mean, like, he should have just said yes, because you have the evidence of other things that have been said that clearly. And then, and I don't know if you're pulling a quote from this, but DC TV podcast did an interview with Todd on like a little carpet thing or whatever, and they asked about a Flash Superman crossover, and he's like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome." It's like,
oh yeah, I have the quote. I have the quote for that.
Oh yeah, pull up that quote. Yeah, because he says that at around the same time he does this. Yeah, right here.
Hold on. Which one is it?
There it is. That's it.
So my good friend and my co-host Tatiana Hollander, who is one of my co-hosts on the Flash podcast, she's been part of that work for several years. She was at the red carpet event at Paley Fest this year for Superman and Lois. There was actually their first Superman and Lois panel at Paley Fest, so great for them. So at the end of the interview that we had, which is up on our YouTube channel, DC Podcast, the link is in the description. You go watch it and click it and support us. We would appreciate it. But Todd asked, what kind of, because Todd was also part of the Flash before, so she asked, like, what characters would you want to see come over at some point? Because fans are always wondering. And he says, and I quote, "I love Grant. He's a good friend of mine. I think having Flash and Superman together would be a lot of fun. I think Iris and Lois will be fantastic. There's a lot of similarities in a lot of our characters. So you could have Wells talking to John Henry Irons. I will take any of those. I love that whole cast. So it's hard for me to just specify one person, but I think for fan service, having Flash over would be pretty great." And this is what's so funny. Hold on. Look at that. Look at April 3rd, the day after WonderCon. So
okay, so this was after his vague statement at the panel, when a lot more people are in the vicinity in terms of, like, instead of being a one-on-one interview and that's going to be uploaded later and people can see it, he's at a panel with fans for the first time in person in a while. He could have got the hype up saying, "We're connected. Flash, we crossovers are possible. We'll see," but instead he has to go this vague, "Well, try to put a stamp." Todd, I hate the response. Like, I hate how he worded it. He should have worded it differently, in my opinion. But yeah.
My thought on the whole matter is that again, because we have evidence that we're going to go to, and again, it's not some sort of like exposing my whatever. So we love these shows, and well, first of all, hi, Fake Jake. I hope you're feeling better, and secondly, that would be hilarious. That would be so hilarious. But for me, what's annoying is that because he's already said it so many times that it's in the everywhere, and so I think the problem with saying a statement like that is, again, because he's not on social media, so maybe he doesn't have that mindset in mind when saying these kind of things. And
What?
Jordan,
What?
look in the chat.
What in the
Well,
literal shit?
well,
Hero
first of
Journey,
all,
my
thank
God.
you.
My
Thank
God.
you.
Hold on.
And let's okay. Are we gonna
Endless
put
multiverse. Endless
multiverse,
multiverse.
endless
Let's
multiverse.
wait, let's say, we're being sidetracked. Hold on a second. This was us when we saw that. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
I will let him breathe, and I will read that. Chainsaw claims you hate her for no reason. If God complex girl appears in Super Lois, this will happen. She tells Jordan you can't be a hero because you're human speed, and tells Steel her only I can own weapons that can hurt Kryptonian speech. So
Hero's Journey hates Supergirl. That's the thing. So I guess now he's like, okay, if you hate Supergirl, that's completely fine. I really don't care. I don't know what to say. I mean, look, I have been very adamant. Supergirl and all these other shows have had very questionable moments in terms of certain things they have the characters do and storylines they do. And Andy will agree with that. Thing is that at the time when Supergirl was really popular, there was no Superman, or he appeared sporadically. He wasn't to be used in his own show. So there's certain things that they covered. And if you don't like it, then don't watch the show. And if you seriously hate Supergirl and you feel like, no, I don't want Supergirl coming through my Lois, I'm sorry. But if that happens, then you can't stop it. Just don't watch it. But the thing is about her giving different speeches and different things they covered, I can't answer that question. If you have an issue, do not blame it on Melissa Benoist, the actress who played Supergirl. Do not blame it on the character Supergirl. Blame it on the writers who wrote her dialogue to say in the storylines, if you really want to have an issue with something. So, Hero, I get it if you don't like Supergirl, but at the same time, it doesn't really affect me because I haven't even finished the show. I didn't even finish season 6. I watched the premiere season 6 and I stopped watching. And I think I might have watched the second episode and then I stopped. So, I don't know. And apparently he's saying what to say. You can't ignore her bad actions. What am I supposed to address exactly? That her different speeches that you don't agree with? I don't know how to answer that question.
Well, if I had to guess, Hero's Journey. I don't know what your name is. So I'm just going to say Hero's Journey, just because that's what I'm seeing. Are you having an issue with the fact that a lot of the things that the show relied on in terms of solving storylines and big actions, arcs and so on, was through just hopeful, inspiring speech? Is that what you're kind of saying? Because if that's, for me, here's the thing. I had issues with Supergirl, but I started disliking Supergirl by season 4. There's a lot of things I did love about the show. I think the characters most of them are wonderful. Like, I think someone like Nia Null coming in and giving, for example, the trans community as someone to look up to. I think Brainiac 5, I love Brainiac. He's one of my favorites in the comics, and I love Jesse Rapp. And I think just some of the things that the show did in the last 3 seasons, I just didn't enjoy it. So. But I still think that it's no good reason for why we shouldn't have Kara, one of Clark's only remaining biological family members. Like, aside from Allura and Zor-El, who are on Argo, Kara is the only one on Earth besides Jordan and Jonathan that is from his Kryptonian family, like from his life at Krypton, that he never got to have. So yeah, like, if people are asking constantly, like, why she's not showing up, why she at least not texting, why are we not seeing the characters react to when she came out to the world as Kara?
Exactly. And that actually is addressed in Earth Prime, the comic, which we'll be talking about.
Yeah,
and that was addressed.
But thank you for your super chat. I hope we answered your
I mean,
question.
I think he's still gonna be mad. We have Real T who just sends in. Thank you so much for the
Thank you.
support. Thank you, Real
Where's
T. He is.
Where's the question?
There's
Where's the
no
question?
question. He just sent the money. He just
Oh.
sent it on in. Thank you, Real T.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You've been a great supporter of yours, and this is going to get us back to the point. And so, before we get to the Scott's question, which will tie us back into our topic, Hero's Journey. I see that you're still commenting about stuff. If you want to, want me to address stuff, I will get back to it when we're done with the topics. We're getting the Q&A because we got sidetracked completely. But we appreciate the super chat, and I know,
No, seriously, even if we disagree, we appreciate your super chat. We do it. But the only way I was going to finish saying it is that it's a weird statement. And for me, like from a marketing standpoint, I'm wondering why would you say something like that? Because one, right now we don't have any storylines going on in the season that somehow alludes to anything that has to do with what could be happening at the end. And there's some fears that we're going to talk about soon that could be going on, and also bring up some of these previous codes. Thank you so much, Scott Edwards.
Thank you, Scott. So do you think a crossover will be announced at the upfront fronts next month? So the tying back in was the second part about the NS, because we were actually talking about the Todd Helbing comments. The crossover thing, more than likely we'll probably hear about another Flash event. There's probably not going to be another crossover, just based on Todd's other comments about COVID and just how they're going about the schedule in terms of shooting and everything, and how they're very protective on set. My guess is that it's going to be another Flash event where they have a arc for season 9. That's my guess, since Eric Wallace has openly talked about wanting to do that again. But is that your guess too?
I mean, it could either be that, or depending, because that's the thing. I think it's if the only, and I want to say only, I don't mean to lose it, because like what we got with Armageddon is probably one of the biggest thing that has happened on all these shows all season. But I think for me, if they announce an Armageddon type event, it's because they don't want to announce like a crossover. We're doing this 5-part crossover event with all the shows, and then something happens with the pandemic. Because here's the thing. And I don't care how political this gets, whether you believe in vaccine or not. So this pandemic is not over.
No,
I have to get my booster shot again very shortly. That's there's people who still haven't gotten vaccinated. It's still a thing. There's still things that these shows cannot do for health guideline reasons. So it's better to say, we're doing just this on the Flash, and that way they don't have to go and cancel it later in the year unless something gets really, really. And I mean, like, really bad. Because so far, it seems like things have been going really well for the Flash this season in terms of production and filming and so on. So that's great. That's wonderful. But I would say it would probably be announced next month. And to answer your second question, what do you think will happen at the end of Superman Lois this season? That's how well, should we just talk about it now, or bring up some of the quotes?
Yeah, let's bring up the quotes. We actually have a fake Jake send in a big super chat as well. But let's get to the Todd Helbing stuff, and then we'll get to that, because I definitely don't want to miss that. But fake Jake, we will get to you in a second, because we got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember the last time where you were like, I don't know if we have anything to talk about this week.
I did. People are like throwing in, hey, we got questions. Let's pull up the Todd quotes, because it all ties into what he mentioned and everything, and the connectivity of Superman and Lois to the Arrowverse as a whole.
So let's bring up this first quote. This is from okay, we need to cover. Can you? Thank you. So this was an interview with Craig Byrne from KryptonSite, KSiteTV. Also, he does Flash TV, New Green TV. You guys know him. You love him. He's awesome. This was on May 17th, 2021. So he asked, was it intentional to have the show be rather self-contained and not have reference to the other Arrowverse shows and situations in the episode that have aired so far? Todd Helbing says, no. Going back to what I was saying about COVID, originally we were going to do a Batwoman crossover, and just because of COVID, it changed things, and slowly things got pulled out of episode until a point where it got so far from us having to explain the crisis of it all, it just felt like a very can of worms to talk about it. Every time we tried to put it in there, it just felt like more and more fun instead of feeling organic. It just felt so strange to talk about it. That doesn't mean though that they're like somehow like they're removing the show out of that same franchise. It just said whatever plans they had when
it got changed.
It got changed. It's like script changes like that last minute happens all the time. I can't talk about some of those things on air, but like you guys would be surprised about some of the things that some of these shows in the past were gonna do, and then they had to take it out because of whatever reasons. Then we have another quote. This is from Todd Helbing at hold on, I can't because of the banner. I can't see it. Thank
TV
you.
line, May 18, 2021.
Yeah. So he said, it got cut out of time. But when Lois quits the data planet and she was walking down the hall towards the elevator, she grabs some of the things from her desk. One of the things that she's holding is a picture of with her, Kara, and Clark. There's been this weird set of circumstances where, because of production or timing or COVID, everything in the show that was related to the Arrowverse has gotten pulled out. It's just another one of those things. We will see how this all pans out for next season. We don't know what's going to change in Vancouver or not. We're going to figure out what makes sense for our shows and for the others. We will see what we can do and we cannot do, and then we'll make a decision based on that. Again, it's all based on safety protocols. Then we have sorry, go on.
1 second. This is the stupidest response because it's a picture.
I know. I've said the same thing.
What are you doing? It's a picture, dude. Anyways, continue.
Then we have a third thing, and this was said to KryptonSite again just 3 days ago at Paley Fest, because he was asking for a follow up. On like what he said at WonderCon, like, can you elaborate on it? He said, I don't want to elaborate. Again, the reason we haven't done any crossover, there are many factors like the pandemic. It's just shipping from crisis slowly and really just trying to make our own mark in the Superman mythos so the show could stand its own. But I understand the fans' frustration, and so we're going to just finally answer that at the end of the season where we all fit in and everything.
I don't like that quote.
Okay, we will get to it. And then we had the one from
Yeah.
And I will say this, guys, in some of our interviews that you can find on the YouTube channel for DC Podcast, many of the cast members are talking about they want to cross over with the Flash, like especially they mentioned which Flash characters they want to meet up with and so on. So it's just it's there. Then here's another quote that came from one of the writers last year, and this was on March 17, 2022, 2021. Sorry, I wrote that's a wrong.
And this tweet is still up, by the way.
Yeah,
this tweet is still up.
And they were quote tweeting about something related to because people have been asking. This is another question I don't think I'll get in trouble for confirming. It is present day Arrowverse concurrent with all the other shows. Crisis changed history, so Lois and Clark had kids much earlier on Earth Prime, and also additional evidence. So during Jordan, you listen to me. I warned you that if you because I had. Hold on. Guys, I warned him. If you're asking me to look for, information and pull things together, you need to be prepared for what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to hold back. I want to bring as much possible so we can have a good discussion about it. Again, not about exposing anything, because these are public quotes and interviews and tweets. So it's like, but I warned him, and it gets technical and detailed. Also, I have Asperger's. Leave me alone. During Diggle's appearance in Superman Lois episode 12, he mentions doppelgangers, other worlds, glowing boxes, losing the people I love, I'm done with that life, all references to his arcs on Arrow. Yep. When Earth Prime was announced as a comic crossover event, it was specifically stated
Diggle also mentioned Oliver and what Oliver did. Didn't he mention Oliver?
That's what losing the people I love.
I thought he mentioned Oliver by name.
Sadly not. Earth Prime is a 3-month 6-issue event set entirely in the universe of DC's popular superhero TV shows. All issues are part of the WonderVerse television show canon, approved by CW television show producers. Each of the first 5 issues spotlights a different CW DC superhero show, with the 6th issue serving as a crossover finale. Tyler Hoechlin was supposed to appear in The Flash Armageddon, but scheduling prevented him. However, Eric Wallace confirmed to the Flash podcast, that's me, that Tyler is on board to appear on The Flash next time he gets approached. The fucking end.
So it's all about scheduling. And
I understand that, because I think just as they were starting to, when they were starting to work on Armageddon, I think they just finished on Superman Lois, and because those actors need to rest too. Just because they have 15 episodes doesn't mean that it's somehow easy on the workload.
Yeah. I just feel like I just don't like the way Todd answered, saying, people will find out how like where we stand and everything. It's like stop. Like the whole thing about a picture, it's a picture. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, the
matter.
photo is still very dumb. Yeah, I think that's dumb.
It doesn't matter if what's happening in Supergirl. It doesn't matter. It's a photo of all 3 of them. That's not going to affect Supergirl. That's not going to affect the Arrowverse continuity to have a photo that Lois is holding. It makes no sense. In terms of the other stuff that was removed, whatever he's referring to, I get it because the shows have like all the different, like Superman Lois is on break right now. Flash is currently airing right now, but Superman Lois is on a break. So with those breaks in motion, I understand why certain things may not be shown or certain things may not be able to make sense, because years ago, back what I consider the golden era of the Arrowverse, Arrow and Flash would air pretty much consistently all the time, and they would be able to reference stuff back and forth because it was better connected in terms of the communication. Now things are a little bit different. You know, that's just how it is.
And like I know I know a lot of fans have, because I'm gonna bring up a certain showrunner that a lot of people had issues with, Mark Guggenheim, who he did Arrow, he worked on Legends, but he was also the one that heavily ran Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like he was like the top brass of it all.
I think he was like the top guy for the last couple crossovers. He was like the guy kind of helping put all that together. Yeah.
Maybe, but I know that like he was I think he was someone that was easier to kind of like go past everyone and like see what everyone wanted to do and so on. And now he is not working on the shows anymore. I think like, maybe he's still involved with Legends and something because he's one of the co-creators. But I think he's moving on to like he's doing a new like a law drama on NBC or something.
He co-wrote the Lantern HBO Max series.
Yeah, I think he did a few episodes. I'm not sure how many episodes he did on that.
Well, they announced that he was co-writing it with another guy, and that was a long time ago. So things may have changed, but I remember that was an announcement. That he
I mean, he's not sure. He's more like just like I think a staff writer and maybe a co-ep or something, because like he's worked now very long in Hollywood, so he has certain credits to his list. But besides that, I think now we're in an Arrowverse now where like it is. Yes, they're all connected. They are like with the exception of Stargirl, which is on Earth 2, but that there's a reason they showed Stargirl during Crisis, because they want you to know that hey, this is a show that you could potentially see coming over at some point. Like I mean, heck, even Brett Basinger, who plays Stargirl on the show, she said last year that there was supposed to be a Flash and Stargirl crossover. She was supposed to be on Flash Season 7, but Supergirl films in Atlanta and Stargirl. Flash films in Stargirl films in Atlanta, Flash films in Vancouver. So, and last year, you can't just fly over however you want, because if you do, if Grant flew over to Atlanta, he would have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks, film whatever scenes he would have, and then go back, self-quarantine for 2 weeks. Now, I don't think those rules are in place anymore, but there were plans for that. We know Superman Lois and Batwoman were crossover, but then the Ruby Rose of it all happened, and we're not going to open that can of worms. So.
Well, I mean, we know eventually when Stargirl does appear on the Flash, this is going to be the first thing that she says to Barry.
Wow, you have seriously leveled up.
let's answer some super. Okay, do you have anything else you want to say about it? Because I know that as soon as something like this happens, hold on. Not receipts. These are not deleted.
It's receipts though, because you're compiling it all together. There's a lot of times people don't look to.
Let me do a full. Hi, Anna back here, journalist, podcaster, and content creator. I like to put an official disclaimer that these is not an expose video. I do not do expose journalism, and this is no way any attack or insult or hate commentary on said showrunner and producer and said TV show, Whatever Television. Please don't kill me.
It's not an expose, but
it's not. I'm just putting that. I'm putting a disclaimer out there just so that they know. I love you guys. If you know, you know. So we all good. This is just a part of a discussion because we are curious. If we didn't love these shows, we wouldn't even bother caring about these comments. We wouldn't even bring it up. We would talk about something else instead. So
let's answer the 2 super chats that came in from Fake Jake and Scott, and then we'll jump into our next topic. So Fake Jake, for me, my issue with Supergirl, this is referencing the giant super chat from Hero's Journey. Issue with Supergirl was that they mainly seemed more focused on sending a message to a certain community instead of telling a compelling story. You are not incorrect, but also it all depends on how you interpret the storytelling, how you interpret the material,
let's just call it what it is. They got very political in the show when we got into season 1, which again, I want to make this perfectly clear. I have no issues with superheroes dealing with social justice. If you go back to the early, like the Silver Age, the Bronze Age of comics, superheroes exist because they do fight injustice, both politically and also just, like, yeah, they do fight bad guys, they punch aliens and other things, but they do also fight the corruption, the racism, homophobia. They cover these kind of things. If you like that they do those sort of things, that's perfectly fine. If you don't like it, that's also fine. But also, it's like, but what they're doing is nothing wrong. It's organic to their storytelling. Now, some shows do it better than others. I think Black Lightning, out of any of these shows, have always been the one to do it the best. I know Arrow did its, gun episode, which I'm like, I wanted to drown myself. Supergirl did a gun episode. I wanted to jump off a plane, and because those shows didn't start out as political dramas. Black Lightning, from the inception of the character coming into comics, was always rooted in Black Lightning versus racism. So, and because I think Salim Akil is a way more capable writer and showrunner than maybe some of the other producers are in terms of dealing with political things in superhero content, that's why I always say Black Lightning is a great example. But it is what it is.
It's also just the fact too that these shows are just trying to find ways to tell new stories, and there's going to be times with Supergirl or Arrow or Flash, all these shows will cover certain things that you don't agree with or you don't want to see on your show. That's just how it is,
Yeah. It sucks that the whole term social justice war has become such a negative term, because again, it's like in real life we're dealing with these things. If people from my community, from the Black community, from the LGBT community, from anyone, from all the minority communities, if we didn't stand up for ourselves and fight the oppression that is, let's just say it is a very white dominating society where we don't get the same opportunity as others, then we would still be living in the same racist world that we lived in at the beginning of time. So it's like, this is part of what they're telling. How they tell it is a completely separate debate, but that the fact that they are actually doing it, there's nothing wrong with it. And if you look at Lois, even they are in a subtle way doing it.
So we also have, thank you, Faycheck, for the super chat. Thank you. We also have Scott here to do another Armageddon type event. Superman and White Canary to be he always wants Superman and White Canary every time.
Hey Scott, if you love Superman and White Canary, it's all good. I agree with you. They do need. I would love the Armageddon type event to just be called Justice League Genesis or something like that. I don't know.
You go. Okay, so let's jump into the next topic, and we thank you for the super chats, guys. If you want to send a super chat, wait till we're in the Q&A, and we will address them in full. But we still have some topics to get through.
Yeah. No, but in terms of fears, what I think is going to happen at the season, I think it's still going to be on the same Earth. I think what's going to happen, though, that they're going to reveal that at some point after Crisis, there's been conflicts between the heroes, and maybe that's why Superman doesn't really want, maybe he's distant from the others for some reason, because one, it is welcome to the CW. They love drama. Dare to defy. Do you hear how dramatic it is?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's something more like that, or they just want to make this right story right. But as you can tell, they want to make these things happen, and I think the negative thing that could come out of this being revealed as they have never been on Earth Prime this whole time, I think it will, because I think you can still be in the same universe, but you don't have to mention every week what the other shows are doing to somehow validate that it's the same world. I think what's going to happen is that because people are already crapping on the other shows because they're not Superman Lois, because they don't have the same budget, or they don't film with the same type of cameras, or they don't have this thing or that thing or whatever and so on, it's gonna create more toxicity and also give fans more reason to not even care about the other shows, because they're like, well, if they're not part of Earth Prime, why do I need to watch? And also let's flip it. Let's flip it. I mean, we can do this, we can flip it, but flipping it, if y'all don't want it in Earth Prime, you will likely not be able to see many of the bigger heroes on Superman Lois, not even as doppelgangers.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
we've been on this for way too long.
Yeah,
a lot. But I mean, we got sidetracked, but at the same time, it's a lot to go through in terms of the different. This should not have been this. There should not be this much stuff to talk about. It should just be clear as day. Like there's no question. Like the car picture that would have completely just stopped the whole debate. We wouldn't be.
You know what I think? Because I think somewhere they had referenced which photo exactly it was going to be, and it was that photo of Tyler, Bitsy, and Kara, but with both Clark and Lois, Clark and Kara without their glasses. And at that point, Kara hadn't come out to the world yet as Supergirl. It hadn't come out revealing her identity. Plus, maybe it would not be the best idea to have a photo of Superman standing next to Lois, being like, "Why is he dressed like Clark Kent?" So I can understand that, but also any type of photo. Like, because you've seen some of the Photoshop photos they do sometimes, so
yeah, sometimes
it's all that
great.
pretty. All right, but let's move on to
Marvel, Moon Knight, episode 2. So, what I really liked about this episode, is that it felt like they weren't slowing down with the storyline. They kept pushing, and I honestly thought after that first episode, the second episode was probably going to be more like just build up and maybe not so much like a lot of stuff happening, but I was wrong. They went right for it, and then having Stephen turn into Mr. Knight was so cool. And he was like, "Well, what happens?" Like, you said his suit, like not that suit. And clearly they're pushing ahead with the story and they're not slowing down. I like the fact that they're not wasting any time. And the fact that Steven actually met with Arthur, which was interesting. And then actually the switch into Moon Knight, which we've seen that in the trailers, the actual switch from Mr. Knight into Moon Knight and fighting the Jackal for a brief moment, but like it was just so cool. But also I think it's pretty much setting up something. I think they're setting up that they're not showing a lot of Moon Knight right now, but we're going to get a lot later in terms of him in the suit. I feel like right now that they're more focused on trying to tell the story versus just showing you the Moon Knight suit a bunch. Cause I feel like that would probably just overwhelm the story. It's like, we're just showing the suit all the time because look, it's Moon Knight, but they're actually telling a compelling story, in my opinion, that is worth watching. That not seeing a lot of Moon Knight right now is it's not breaking the story. Like I like how they're holding back a little bit, but I feel like once we get to the later episodes, it's going to really pick up in terms of actually seeing that. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. What did you think about it? Because I can't wait for next week.
This accent needs to go.
Unfortunately, it won't go. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm stuck with it for 4 more weeks. I do not like the portrayal of Stephen Grant. Again, I don't know anything about Moon Knight, but I've done a little read. I've talked to some people who are like massive Moon Knight fans. And I'm asking, like, is this really what Stephen Grant is in the comics? Stephen with a V, by the way. Stephen. And this is apparently not it at all. And what I feel this is, to me, it feels like it's like a bad 90s stereotype nerd from like a really bad comedy movie that, it's like there's nothing really relatable about Steven in general, to be honest. And there was a lot of information to process this week, which I think it's good. We're getting somewhere forward with the story, but the fact that like anytime Mark isn't in control, I'm like just so annoyed. Again, I know this was obviously something that Oscar Isaac was very excited about and he worked really hard on, and but for me, it's not it. But I'm invested in the show for Oscar Isaac, and like I can try and just like numb it down when he's talking in that accent. But the fact is, like, the fact that I had to get him more. It doesn't mean who we're supposed to root for, Mark or Steven. Like, because again, Mark seems very like deranged, and he doesn't seem that reliable. But Steven is also just not not really that enjoyable as a character. So I'm like, who are we supposed to be rooting for? I think the Mr. Knight costume looks phenomenal, and I saw someone on Twitter bring up, hey, tell me again why glowing eye doesn't work, because I know like a lot of people always want to see some of the superheroes who have masks and have the glowing white eyes like in the comics, particularly with Batman. And I'm like, I mean, they're right. They there's no reason they should.
It can work.
And I saw they added Mr. Knight. Like, he's like now like a character showing up at the Disneyland parks. So it's and he was doing like and the dude who was in that suit did a way better British accent um than Mr. Isaac. But in terms of like moving forward, oh, Kitty darling.
I mean, it's got a point. It's point. It's a point.
Well, then maybe just not have them do British accents then. I think Aminette's got a little better as she got more time to work with. I think in the first episode it was just very, oh, Jordan darling, have you seen Novak? Like, it's just got too much.
Thank you, America's ass.
Wow. But yeah, no, it's moving forward, and I do wonder what the third, because I've noticed a third character with them Moon Knight, so I'm interested to see that. Arrowverse scares the beloved crap out of me. I don't
Ethan Hawke knows how to play this character. He's just doing a great job because everything was kind of like okay-ish until he's like, so about the scarab, and then everybody around him got up out of their chairs, was standing closer. I'm like his whole demeanor changed. Like, so about that scarab. I don't have it. He actually didn't have it.
Don't you mean I do not have it? Did I have it? Arthur, I don't have it. You're why, mate? I don't. See, I think the effects look amazing. I think the action is sick. I love that we're getting, a little grittier, a little more intense and violent, and that we see some of that MCU stuff too. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see episode 3. It was a very intense cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely setting up for some intense shit in Egypt, for sure. We got some more stuff to talk about. We got 2 more things, and this is a thing that I think is going to be a lot of things. This comic.
So we're gonna jump back to the Arrowverse with the Prime issue 1, the first installment of this 6-part Arrowverse crossover event, and this was written by Natalie Abrams and Kelly Larson, who are writers on the show. Kelly, shout out to you for watching, good friend of mine. And it was written also by Cameron Johnson, who wrote a story for Luke. He plays Luke Fox on the show. Art by Clayton Henry and cover by Kim Jacinto. It's on sale now in print and digital, so go buy it, go support it so we can get more of these kind of stories. And this issue focuses on ever since the tech that created many of Batman's rogues hit the streets, Ryan Wilder has been running herself ragged, trying to contain the new villains popping up around Gotham City. But when Clay faces Mud binding itself to a local high school, Batman will need help from an unexpected source in order to contain his muddy foe. Also, follow how Luke Fox balances his life as a superhero and a boyfriend. And I really enjoyed this. I missed these tie-in comics, and I love the fact that we know it's leading up to something, and the ending is very huge. So if you haven't read it, guys, come back to this timestamp. I will be there will be timestamp in this after the live show is over. And if you want to stay, and you can hear it all. But Jordan, let's start with you. How did you enjoy the first issue? Because I know you have been a little bit behind Batwoman. So what was it like kind of go back to Batwoman now and seeing what they've been up to? There's probably a lot of things you missed.
Yeah, I'm definitely confused on certain things, but they actually address certain things that I was like, what's happening here? I thought it was overall pretty solid. Like, I wasn't blown away by it, but at the same time, I like the tie-in stuff they did in terms of they mentioned Kate Kane, they mentioned Crisis, but I won't go, of course, into the ending and everything and how that kind of unfolds with Clayface. But I was actually surprised by certain things they actually cover, because I actually was going, oh, they actually did address that. Like, there were certain things I didn't even think that, like, I'm just going to read this, see what happens. And I'm like, oh, that was addressed. Oh, that was addressed. Okay, that's interesting, because I honestly was expecting this to not really address certain things outside of this tie-in comic in terms of other events, but they address certain things. I'm like, that's interesting. I do recommend it if you're an Arrowverse fan to read it, especially the ending. The ending definitely is interesting. But in terms of certain events that are covered, because there's a lot of questions about Ryan Wilder's connection to the bigger thing outside of Batwoman, in terms of how is she going to potentially connect to these other shows, and how much does she know? Well, she gets some information in this comic, so that definitely will tie into future stuff, I think, for sure. Obviously within the comic itself, but I think it's going to tie into the potential show if it gets picked up for season 4. I feel like there's going to be certain things they may address because now the comic's out. Now they can actually start addressing certain things, or at least she's aware of certain things, because before she had no clue. So that's interesting. But yeah, I recommend it. Go check it out. Definitely the ending is setting up something interesting.
Yeah, we will get to the ending after I get my thoughts. I thought the art was so beautiful, seeing some of these actors, I mean, and they must be geeking out like crazy. It's not every day that you get to be turned to a comic book character on page. And so that was very cool, to see so many of them just in comic form. And obviously the big thing I guess we could talk about now is Lena Luthor shows up from Supergirl. Is obviously for after the series finale, along with the series finale. And the thing that Jordan was alluding to was the fact that they actually talk about Crisis. They actually explain Crisis more to Ryan, and I think that's great that they actually finally got to that point, because because I never expected them to bring it up on the show, at least, unless, it is, if she shows up on The Flash again and she kind of hangs out alone and she's like, what are doppelgangers and so on. But now she has that info and now she knows it. And it was also in a very Batwoman quippy way, the way they did it. It was very funny that way. And I appreciate it, because that's just the tone of the show. It's it's a little gritty, but it's also very fun. And also just seeing, I think Lena Luthor is someone that fits in so well within this type of show that we will see what happens down the line. And I think obviously someone like Clayface is very challenging to do on network television. And I don't even think Superman Lois could probably do it that frequently. Maybe these shows could maybe do it for one episode, and
Clayface could be an arc. No.
As an arc? Oh, no, I could never see it. As in one episode?
It could be an arc, no.
Yeah. If it's just in a one-off, and he's in 4 scenes as a monster, I think that's all we could get. But I really enjoy it, and I think that it's gonna. And again, obviously they explain where this is set, so that that it's it's in the middle season 3, so it does make sense. But the ending, what did you? Because we also got the news of who because there's because the thing that is tying all these things together is obviously a villain of some kind, and it's Magog from Kingdom Come, who we have not seen in a very long time. He is now on his way to Arrowverse, and he is collecting, I guess. What do you think of this?
Well, I'm wondering if this is actually going to do something outside of the comics. You know what I'm saying? It's obviously canon to the Arrowverse, but are we going to see is the story actually going to wrap up in issue 6, or is it going to come up again down the road where the shows are going to do another crossover event and actually continue? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, since this is tied in and they're telling people to go read it. So my guess is there's probably going to be a conflict. They're going to fight, but then there's ultimately going to be some sort of cliffhanger, essentially, to where it's he's going to come back. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be in live action. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to pull it off as a last hoorah for the Arrowverse, in terms of a last crossover, because a lot of these shows aren't going to last too much longer. Let's be honest. So I wouldn't be surprised.
There'll be new shows that come in, and I think
but I'm saying, I mean, we don't know. We don't know how long this is going to last. I mean, we think of shows are going to be coming, but I mean, how much longer can the Arrowverse go? Because, I mean, with the buyout that just occurred with Discovery and Warner Bros., who knows what they're going to do? They may say, well, it all just depends on the higher ups, what they want to do. Because I mean, now as we're hearing more stuff about HBO Max, stuff's moving over to there. I'm trying to not be too optimistic. I'm also not trying to, think, well, nothing's ever going to happen again. It's all over. But you just never know.
I mean, you're being precautionary. I totally get that. I mean, right now, there's nothing indicating, just so that it is clear to everyone, that there's nothing indicating that none of, yes, shows end and come and go. But I think that the Arrowverse is profitable for obviously, maybe the CW isn't profitable as a network, but it's profitable for Warner Brothers. So they will keep it alive for as long as there's stories being pitched to them, there's shows being pitched to them. As long as DC Warner's ones make it happen, they will make it happen one way or another. It may just be that 5 years from now, it will be a different lineup of like maybe it's Superman Lois, it is show 2, show 3, Stargirl, and whatever and so on. Like it's so yeah. I mean, right? Yeah. So I totally get being keep your expectations low. And I think the reason they did Magoo was because he's a freaking alien with a giant staff, and he's again like, guys. If you haven't, I know some people are asking in the chat like, what's Magoo? Like, go read Kingdom Come. It's one of the. It is. If you've never picked up a DC comic ever in your life, and you start it's gonna make you want to see more of DC universe. If you start with Kingdom Come, Mark Waid and Alex Ross, I mean, they're literal gods. I stand them. So go read it. It is, it should be on DC Universe Infinite at this point. So
I have the graphic novel back there. Kingdom Come.
Yeah, you can go buy in print even. So and I think the reason they did that again because in comic you don't have a budget you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about like how much it's going to cost to rent this or do this and so on. But I'm excited to see what he's planning to do. So
Kingdom Come paperback on Amazon right now is $17.99. You
that's
can
a
get
great deal.
Get $18 or whatever. You can get Kingdom Come right now. So,
all right, let's move on to the final discussion before we jump into Q&A.
Discussion. Young Justice is back. Young Justice is back with 3 episodes last week, and then the 4th to end the Aqualad. It's Aqualad, but it's Aquaman Calder arc. And I'll say this. I was honestly expecting maybe 5 episodes in the arc just because they started with 3 episodes when the show returned last week with starting the Aquaman Calder arc. But no, only 4. And I will say this. I forgot that King Orm died in season 3. I completely forgot about that while watching the first 3 episodes last week because I'm like, oh, okay, cool. King Orm, whatever. Completely forgot, and then thinking back, like, oh yeah, he did die. Oops. But then it was just all the speculation about this prophecy and everything, and the Watchtower discovering a lower level of the ocean that had not been discovered previously. I'm like, what is going to happen here? I really, really enjoyed these episodes. I felt like they wasted like no time doing a bunch of crazy stuff, and I was quite surprised with an arc within the episode in terms of a certain little character that's actually on screen right now. I cannot stress enough. This show is worth your time. If you love DC, if you love just like animation in general, you need to watch the show if you are not watching Young Justice. There are 3 complete seasons. The 4th season has now 17 episodes. It is time for you to binge this show because it needs a season 5. We still have yet to get a season 5 confirmation. I'm curious, what did you think about the arc? Because I felt they wasted no time getting to some insane crap.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, Young Justice it was actually the first show I ever reviewed, like as a critic online, and like many years ago. And I think that this is probably like the best DC animated show since probably just something Unlimited. Like I think that what Greg Weisman, Brendan Vieira have done for almost a better half of a decade is incredible. Like they treat these characters like it feels like watching a live action show, like a live action drama, but in an animated form through 25 minutes or something like that. And Aqualad is obviously someone, he's one of the OGs. Calderon, we love him, we stand him, and I'm glad that they're fleshing out his mythology so much more in the show. And it's been interesting. This season's they've been doing a lot of different things in terms of like with magic, with Atlantis, with metahumans, and so on. And I think I dig this format a little bit more than what they were doing in season 3. And I think the reason why season 3 felt so different was because there had been such a big time gap between when we had season 2 and when we got season 3. So like the show just felt like it also naturally had to grow up and do different things. So, but I think this is what I prefer a lot more. And but I also really want to talk about the Superboy of it all, and like what the hell is going on there. And Wally I mean, Wally fucking West.
They're always going to play that card. They're always going to play the Wally card, no matter
Well,
what.
but let me tell you this:
Mhm.
if they actually stick to their gun and they actually never bring him back, I will give the show a lot of applause because like that means like because here's the thing in this kind of genre, these characters can always come back and they die, they come back, doppelgangers, magic, resurrections, flashbacks, you name it. But I like the fact that if they don't bring Wally back at all, I mean, like, it's major props to them. Like, I would love to see Wally come back, but obviously, if they don't do it, it's not gonna make me upset either. But I really do wonder where they are, where the hell they are at this point.
People say the Phantom Zone.
That would be an interesting take on it. Like,
Well, people are saying that the girls that with him, the Legion, she's Phantom Girl or something from the Legion. So they feel like that she transferred him to there, and that she got injured and she won't wake up. I have no idea. That's like a theory because he's like stuck there. And I think too with his visions and stuff. Like I think Wally, like this is just my theory, no basis of this. I think that Wally is intended to return, but if the show had not been canceled, it would have felt more organic because we didn't have to wait all these years for the show to return. And then, of course, the nostalgia of seeing Wally being shown in season 3 and now here in season 4. I feel like it would be different if the show never got canceled because it was always intended for him to return. But with so much time has passed, I think it makes it feel different because we're like, oh, they're going to bring him back because the show is back now. So they can't. I feel like Greg always intended for Wally to come back, but maybe not in the way you think. That's my guess. I don't know. Because I feel like that whatever thoughts they had about a season 3 and continuing, they probably maybe altered it when the show returned. But I feel like the main plot points, because the bus, that when they connected the bus to everything in terms of like certain how that bus was just so important, and they addressed that in the final arc before the break, like. What the crap, dude? That is something that wasn't a coincidence. That was planned, I think, or timeline wise, something was. I want to ask Ray that so bad about that fucking bus. Like, what made you think about doing that? Like, how? Because it's so random, but then they made it work. I have no idea. I feel like there was always a plan for that bus, and that's what's scary because that means that Greg had that thing planned for years.
But Greg and Brandon, I want to make sure both of them because they created the show together, and they.
Yeah, I apologize. My point is that Greg's more vocal online about his work. I mean, it was planned for years. There's no way that was a coincidence, and that they're like, well, let's just try the bus thing. Let's just throw in a random bus. Like there was a reason why the bus was put in there. So because it's in the scripts. It had to be in the scripts for that bus was going to pop up again here and here and here because they showed every reference point. It even popped up a year in the future. Did you see that when it was going through time?
Yeah.
See, they have it planned out. We're going to see probably in season.
That's normal. It's normal. That's what showrunners have to do. They have to map it out. So they may not have like here's A, B, and C, D things that are going to happen in this episode, but they may be like. Every couple episodes, this bus is going to be brought back to remind you that we're not done with this. That there's a reason we want you guys to keep attention to that bus. And also, it's a good lesson for kids. Don't miss the bus when you go to school.
But my response to that is not every showrunner will do something that specific for so long. Like there are certain callbacks they'll do, but there are things that they'll reference seasons later, but it's because it's convenient. This felt deliberate that they wanted to address. And the fact that we have a year in the future in terms of it's a year ahead and that bus is going to fly by on, I think Apocalypse is where it's at. I think it's on Apocalypse or New Genesis, something. And it's like, we're going to see it probably in season 5 if we get it. They're going to show that bus from someone else's perspective. Because during the Aquaman arc, we saw where the giant fire came up, of course, from Child, and then we see over in this little corner, we see Dr. Fate, and then they leave, they exit out. So we saw from Mara's perspective, I think it was Mara or Aquaman, something, one of their perspectives seeing that, but we saw their perspective during the Zatanna arc. So we're going to be seeing from someone's perspective a year later the bus flying by. And it's going to be so crazy because everyone wants to, oh yeah, the bus that they finally addressed, they're still addressing it because then we see it again. And they made sure, of course, because we saw a version of that shot at the end of Zatanna arc with Superboy. And so they showed a fully fleshed out. Now we know the context of what's happening. Because before we're like, was that? Because at first I didn't recognize it was him. So
yeah, I want to see what is going. I also need to see what the hell they're doing with the Legion, because I'm like that. I have two criticisms so far about this season so far. One is I need do more with the Legion. I get they had the conversation with Kark last week, but at this point I'm just like, you need to get on with it. Like, let's come on. Like, I need to, like, this needs to be by episode 20. We need to have a better idea what's going on with it, because they've been popping up here and there all over the place. And I, as someone who like enjoys the Legion, I want to see a big because they only show up for like a couple of minutes and then they're gone. And the other thing was, and I think it was good that I mean, we had the intervention for Beast Boy this week, because wow, this man is going through it, and they just he needs to heal, he needs to get help, because he's pushing everyone away right now, and that's obviously part of grief. Obviously everyone deals differently with it, but it's a very dark Beast Boy right now. But I think it's time we move on to Q&A, unless you have anything else you want to add.
And hey, no, I'm good. Q.
Okay.
And, hey, are we at 30 likes yet? Are we at 30 likes?
We're at 29. So I say let's get to 40 likes, because I know like within seconds we're gonna get 40 likes because we have an amazing audience.
Yeah.
So
the goal tonight is going to be 40 likes, guys. 40 likes is the goal on this stream tonight. If we can get there, we'll love you forever. 40 likes. We'll be addressing that every few minutes. So live questions. Let's go to your live questions, guys.
I'm gonna go scroll to the top.
You scroll to the top. Fake. I do want to pull up Fake Jake here. I would love to see if a Kingdom Come Superman show up Brandon Routh. I think a lot of us would like to see that, especially how they teased it in Crisis. And with the timeline reverted. So
Anthony asks, do you ever buy or read any Titans comics or graphic novels? I used to buy Teen Titans comics a couple years ago when the show was in development. I got a Teen Titans 50-year anniversary collection special for my sister, and I've read Teen Titans the Earth 1 series, which is very interesting. But I haven't bought it in recent years. But I own Teen Titans comics. What about you?
I got a couple. I definitely was looking for some more. I mean, I have actually, the Young Justice comics they made back in the day during the first 2 seasons. They have Young Justice comics that were the tie-ins from season 1 to season 2. I have them. I haven't read them yet, but I have them.
There you go.
Yeah, I definitely want to read those. But I mean, in terms of Teen Titans, well, thank you, Super Chat. In terms of Teen Titans, I do have like the death and return of Wonder Girl as a specific thing that I really wanted to get that, but I have a couple other stuff as well. Yeah, I mean, I react to the Morbius pitch meeting.
The pitch meeting are hilarious.
It was so funny. Okay, so I want to pull this up from Hero's Journey, who gives a huge super chat, of course. So he wants to come on live here to do a talk about thing. He's saying the issue is not resolved. I'm going to be open and honest with you, Hero's Journey. You've been following me for a while. And here's the thing. This show is not for fans to come on necessarily to have a conversation, especially with something like this that was addressed so long ago, because you bring up the point that I said that you hate Supergirl for no reason. I don't remember why exactly I said that. I say a lot of stupid shit. I do. In terms of ignoring your issue, I don't have an issue with you hating or disliking. I was just making a stupid comment at the time. I truly don't care how you feel. You feel how you want to feel. I'm not going to tell you how to feel or whatever otherwise. So if you're feeling like you have an issue with something I said, I'm sorry that you took it that way. If you've watched me a amount of time, because you've watched me for quite a while, I'm not a serious person. Sometimes I am, but a lot of the times, no. I'm just having fun. I'm just silly. And so for you to feel like there's an issue going on, that's on you. That's not on me. Because if you seriously hate Supergirl, you hate that character, you hate what they've done, that's your opinion. I
And
address
you're entitled to feel that way. Like, if you know,
Yeah.
I mean, like I there's things that I don't like that I talk about, like, I mean, I get flack for it online because people are gonna be buttholes sometimes. But it's I don't think anyone is trying to like no one is trying to ignore you or anything. And we and also just trying to, because I'm trying to just ground everyone a little bit. And so come up, it's Friday night, we're trying to have fun, and it's, again, we're talking about fictional characters that don't exist. They ain't here, y'all. Like, it's not like Barry Allen's like sleeping in my bedroom right now and being like, what the hell is going on? Like, no one, like, they're not.
Yeah.
I don't know why I
Yeah.
specifically said Barry. I meant Tom Welling's Clark Kent, of course, because
Um,
that's my.
and
But,
I guess we can say this because Andy made a point. Maybe in the future we can do a fan show.
yeah,
feel
remember,
like
we're still 9 episodes. We're still figuring
We're
things
still
out.
figuring this out, guys. Like we're getting to episode 10, a celebration episode. I think we're probably going to do a celebration episode. But yeah, so
But one day we will. Like, again, like, because Jordan and we're almost basically on the phone at least once a day, and we talk about things, and like we are still there's still things endless multiverse we're still figuring out. So we, but I think down the line we will do something like that, because because you guys are amazing for showing up and tuning in with your questions and your discussions and so on. It's so thank you. We have.
I like this.
Do you mean Barry specific?
I think he's saying Barry. I think
Yeah.
he would. Barry has
No, okay. Let's. I need rules. Okay, I need to hear rules first. Okay. So does he have super speed still?
Yes.
Because if he does, he can just read all the books in the world.
Yeah.
And then be a great wizard. But
Okay,
so Barry is very impulsive.
You know how the restricted section is restricted for a reason? He could just blaze in there and read everything without even being detected. He could learn all the stuff that they try to hide away. By the way, why would they have a restricted section in the library of Hogwarts? Wouldn't you want to take all that crap out so the students can't? Because that's they break in and they take it. Like, what? Come on, there shouldn't even be one in that school because kids are going to figure out a way. Harry figured out a way to get in there. So
yeah, and if kids can do it, I mean, I'm just
exactly.
I'm just saying.
But I think he would have super speed. But in terms of would he be a good wizard? I mean, he's level-headed for the most part. I feel like sometimes he let his emotion get the best of him, as we've seen at times. Flashpoint, but
why are we whispering? We can say Flashpoint.
Yeah, Flashpoint.
What? Nothing's gonna happen if you say Flashpoint. You can say it. Say Flashpoint.
Okay, Flashpoint.
You want to hear part 2? Here you go. Well. I was way too satisfied.
Now, here's the thing. I was gonna play a clip, and then your clip started playing when I said the word.
Be faster, Barry.
I know exactly. I'll try it again. Flashpoint. That's what I was gonna do. And you went.
Yes, I'm actually laughing. I am laughing. What do you think? You think I just like sit in my bedroom, like, because this was when I was still living at home. Do you think I just sitting alone in my bedroom and just cackling by? I mean, something I would, but this time I was like actually enjoying myself. But maybe I think he would be a great wizard.
Wow, you have seriously leveled up.
Oh my god!
I just have to find an excuse to play that. So we got more super chats. Thank you, Jennifer, so much. So yeah, this was announced.
That happened today.
A couple hours ago.
I will admit, I've been a little bit under the weather, so I slept a lot today. So okay. I have not had time to read anything or see anything. So I don't want to speak on it before I have seen or gotten more full context. So
all I'm going to say about in response to it, because it was super chat. Thank you, Jennifer, for the support.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you.
And Jennifer also sent in just a couple $1 super chats here.
Well,
thank you for that,
Jennifer.
and then another one. Thank you for the support.
Another one.
And I think she has another $2 one. We'll get to in a second. But all I'll say is this: it's interesting. For 10 years, I don't know if that means he's not eligible for an Oscar. He's just not allowed to be at an Academy event or the Oscars for the next 10 years. I think it's interesting. I didn't read too much to it. I just saw the response came out, and then of course, since he did step away, he like resigned. They couldn't revoke his membership, so that was something they couldn't do. But I don't know. It's interesting. It's 10 years. Let's see here.
Another super chat.
Ooh, the reason section restricted is because in theory it covered material that was only geared towards people in age 5 to 7, not young. Okay, well then they should just just have it like in a separate area where only 5th and 6th graders or 5th to 7 could find.
But obviously it's like dark shit that they shouldn't be reading at all. Like no matter what
No
age.
kid
Like
should.
why is it? So why is it even there?
Exactly. Most underrated MCU movie. Okay, most underrated.
Captain America: First Avenger.
I
think that
feel
movie does
people-
not get enough love for that.
I feel people over time have started appreciating it more, but at the time it wasn't bad. I thought it was pretty solid, especially for the period piece, because they could have made it just modern day, or they could have had it just they could have just did the flashback stuff before he got frozen, and then he woke up in modern day and just went the rest of the movie.
Oh, I would have hated that so much.
They could have, and I remember the writers of First Avenger, and then they went and did, of course, Winter Soldier, and then they did Civil War, and then they did Avengers 3 and 4, who worked with, of course, Anthony Russo and Joe Russo, of course, the writers, Christopher Marcus and Steve McFeely. I feel like that's their names. Apologies if I got those screwed up because they get interconnected in my head. They talked about the fact that they thought at first when they went in to try to get the job for Captain America: First Avenger, they thought that Marvel was going to make it a modern time, and they really liked the fact that it was a period piece in terms of setting up Cap, because I felt like it needed to be that way. Because if it was literally like 5-10 minutes as the flashback and then he's in present day the whole time,
it would have been so lame. I would have been disappointed if that was it, and also because we would not have gotten Agent Carter.
Exactly. I mean, and that was definitely established because of that film, because they would have to do a lot more setup with Agent Carter if they didn't have, all that stuff in the movie. But in terms of, I think Thor 1 is kind of underrated too a little bit. I feel like people don't really talk about that movie much. I think because Thor 2 No, Thor 1, the first Thor.
Oh, I love Thor 1.
I feel like that's underrated. I think Thor 2 is the reason why Thor 1's not talked about a lot, because people are like, well, Thor 2, but Thor 1 was actually pretty solid.
Well, I know that, like, because I loved it when it came out. I love it because again, it was just such a good tone or whatever. And then like 5 years later, I ended up being friends with one of the dudes who wrote it, and then he went out to do the Flash. So I mean, and I constantly told him like, dude, you're 4. I cannot understand how they went from that to the dark world, because it's just so weird. And so I think a lot of MCU phase 1 things actually don't get a lot of appreciation, because back then it was still at the beginning of Disney's acquisition, and I think people were just so against superhero movies back then. But now, like, it's it's almost all we talk about. I haven't yet. I will. I promise you I will. But
Shame.
Okay.
Shame.
I mean, I've been shamed for other things. It's fine. But Gracie. Not yet. But I'm looking forward to seeing this film. I'm looking forward to the secrets that this film has been hiding for for such a long time, and we will talk about it here at some point. So
of course, I'm seeing it Thursday night. I'm talking about that shit. I'm getting audience reaction. I'm going crazy. I do want to click on this one because good point. Incredible Hulk was underrated in my opinion. It's not talked about much because it's Edward Norton and they see Mark Ruffalo now as the Hulk. So they don't talk about that movie much, but I think the Abomination design is definitely a little strange, but now they've tried to fix that.
It looks better now. I do.
Yeah, in Shang-Chi, he looks like Abomination, but I feel like they should have. I don't know. I get the point. Let's see here. Oh, Fake had a question actually that we missed about. Do you collect any DC figures from McFarlane or any 4x4 Marvel figures? I actually, all I have is my Batgirl statue. That's all I have, and my little Cthulhu, which is a paperweight. I don't actually have.
If you look, hold on. You
got some Funko Pops up there and stuff.
And that was not the point.
Oh, okay.
Right Actually, hold on. Let me go. I'll get it for you. Hold on.
Yeah, you get you're because you're blocking it. Careful. Oh, that's awesome.
Can you
Black
full screen?
Canary- Oh, full screen? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. How do I full? Okay, here you go.
My parents were so angry at me when I bought it, but I'm like, my money. What are you gonna do about it?
40 likes, guys. Let's get to 40 likes. We're not sure. I'm not sure how many likes the stream has now. Let's get to 40. Can we get to 40 likes on this stream? Where are we at right now on the likes? Do you know?
Hold on, let me check. We're at
40,
33. We're at
Let's get to 40.
33.
Our goal tonight is 40, guys. 40. 40. We're getting there. We actually have another super chat that I forgot to mention. Favorite comic book of all time from Jennifer. Once again, thank you, Jennifer, for the super chat. It's hard to answer because I would rather answer an actual arc in terms of like a graphic novel versus a comic book, because comic book would imply like an issue, I think. But in terms of graphic novel, I would have to say, okay, I'll give you two answers. Marvel, it's a little more obscure, but I think people need to read it. I actually have the omnibus back there. Marvel, it's Avengers X-Men Onslaught. 90s, so much story in there. It's really insane. In terms of DC, it's a mixture between Crisis on Infinite Earths or Blackest Night. I feel like those two storylines are just insane for different reasons, but I would say those two. But in terms of like just like an individual graphic novel, I would say The Killing Joke from Batman. I really like that back and forth with Batman and Joker. The movie, that's different, but the actual book itself.
For DC, I think it's either a tie between Crisis, The Flash Rebirth, Flashpoint, and Superman Earth 1 Volume 1. I mean, I love that whole trilogy, but Marvel, see, I'm horrible. I don't have as I know. So the Ultimate Spider-Man by Brian Michael Bendis, the first volumes, especially Volume 1, I mean, because it's such an easy read, it's such a great way to get introduced into the the Spider-Man universe. It's they modernize a lot of great things, and and every time I read it, I still find new things I didn't pick up on the first time. So I do like it. I do like it quite a lot. But see, I'm not as big of a Marvel kid, I guess.
That's all good. That's all good.
But thank you for your super chat, Jennifer. I will, if I think of any more, I will bring it up.
So yeah, we had there's been some news about this. There's some whispers of She-Hulk being in trouble. I don't believe it until someone more credible says anything, because I feel like right now it's just whispers.
Yeah, this is me when it comes to that question. I'm running away from. I have no idea.
Oh my god. Well, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Love you.
We love you as well. Thank you. Thank you.
And multiverse. Get up your arm. Multiverse. I did see that someone had asked me earlier if my hair is growing back. I mean, no, I'm bald for the rest of my life. No, actually, hold on.
Yeah,
because Jordan had to point out as soon as we FaceTimed that other day, he was like, "Your hair is back." I'm like, I
said it was growing, but I didn't say it's back. It's grown, yeah. And everyone's saying, I can't believe people last week, it's bald cap. No, it's not a bald cap.
I can't hear anything you're saying right now. Hold on.
What I was saying is that people last week were like, it's bald cap. No, it's not. It's not a bald cap, guys. Come on. Fake Check has a great question here. Favorite arc? Supermax Prison, Arrow Road to Crisis, Bloodwork, or Armageddon?
What the hell is Road to Crisis?
Basically, Arrow season 8 leading up to Crisis.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny because I actually started re-binging it yesterday, and I'm already on episode 7 now. And I'm like, I love Arrow season 8.
I would say out of the choices, I think personally for me, I think Arrow Road to Crisis, basically everything leading up to Crisis, because Arrow was what brought me into the Arrowverse in terms of that was the first show I watched. Obviously, at the time, it was the only show. I mean, Flash had just aired, but it wasn't available on Netflix. So I've been to the first few seasons on Netflix, and I caught up with season 3 of Arrow, season 1 of Flash, and now that. But with my love for Arrow and with my disdain, my anger with certain things that show did, Arrow season 8 delivered on pretty much everything I wanted. In terms of what there were certain things, obviously, I wanted Deathstroke. I wanted certain things in terms of the final season. But in terms of what they did, I got to give it to Road to Crisis.
I honestly, in retrospect, I need to go back and rewatch the Supermax prison arc. It did go a little longer than I thought it would, but I think it should have been longer, honestly. But it's either a tie. It's a tie between Road to Crisis and Armageddon, because the thing with Armageddon is that was the first time since the pandemic kicked in that we actually could have other characters show up. So it's like, and it was special. It was a really good Barry Allen story. So it's a toss up for me between that.
There was actually a cut sequence from Arrow season 8 that I actually learned about recently, and I really wish it happened. It turns out Oliver went to the Batcave. And when he saw this occur, he got the hell out of there.
Suit me up, Uncle Alfred.
Guys, I don't know why the fuck you put it in there. Like, if you want to be confused, I will join you.
I think Amazing Webhead said last week, "Do you have that clip?" I'm like, nope. But I will now. I pulled that clip. Yeah, so that's in our reaction. Well, I say our, me and the ghost, because she was off camera, but we literally were watching the episode live, and we saw the version of where the camera backs out after the Supermax arc is done, and Oliver and Felicity are kissing, and the camera backs out crazily fast. Diggle is gone. He's just gone. It was so funny. But yeah, we saw that, like, it's in the reaction. You see the altered version of it in the video, because when I pulled the episode, it was that version.
This
is true.
That would make so much sense.
Makes sense to me, my opinion.
Metas killed your parents, Gracie. They all deserve to die.
Don't believe him, Grace.
That's actually the open of the movie.
From the same executive producer who brings you Superman and Lois.
That was Todd Helbing.
That was from his season. I don't know if it was from. I mean, I don't know what episode.
That was a season. I think that's the season finale.
Then let me look and see who wrote it.
I believe that's season finale.
Hold on, let me stand by. Sure. I mean, Jesus Christ. There was a lot of super chats that came in all at the same time stamp. It was written by a story by Lauren Serto and teleplay by Todd Helbing and Eric Wallace. So, but Todd Helbing was a showrunner, so I blame it on him. Leave Eric alone.
Make sure you tell Eric about Gracie.
I am not gonna, that woman does not exist in my head anymore.
The thing is, yeah, this is what me and the ghost said in that video. Digger took a long walk off a short pier. He just disappeared. Okay.
What happened?
The question. Would you rather have Evans never be Cap or Mel, never be Arrow? I don't know. I don't know. That's a hard question. It really is. I don't know.
I'm confused. I don't. Well, if you wonder what I'm doing, right, I'm googling pictures of them just to I need to see it in my head.
I was wondering what you're looking at.
No, I'm good just because I want to see. I need, Also, I'm also. Do I need an excuse to be thirsty for hot men? Good lord. I probably. I'd rather if. Oh my god, this is so hard. Because if we never got Stephen Amell's Arrow, we probably wouldn't have never gotten the Arrowverse. And with Chris Evans, because if we had never gotten his Captain America, I mean, the Friday would have still been there, but he's still one of the integral parts to it. So I think if I have to pick one, because the Arrowverse is what I've grown mostly attached to, I would rather as Chris Evans became Captain America, because then we never would have gone to other shows.
Yeah. We'll put the Joker left. Do you think Flash Man season finale will? I mean, we'll see. I don't think they'll actually. I don't think the two shows will tie itself together, but we'll definitely see some. We'll definitely see them setting up stuff because we know they're getting another season. So they're definitely going to be something to set up the next seasons. But
when you say tie in together,
I don't think I don't think it's going to tie in together. I feel like he's probably thinking they're going to.
Because here's what, because I'm maybe Victor, are you asking this also because they announced the season finale dates this week? Because so just as a quick, Wednesday, June 29th is the Flash season 8 finale. June 21st is Superman Lois season finale. So there is a week apart from them, and so they could.
Let's hear that Andy laugh, people, shall we?
Then also part 2. Well.
I like that little.
No, because you know what that was? That was me like seeing. I think that's when I saw Twitter freak out, and I was just again because I didn't. There's so much about this crossover, you guys, that I knew for way too long that I probably should not have known of. But what are they gonna do? That I'm like, once it all came to fruition, I'm just like, let them suffer.
I mean, it would be cool. It'd be cool.
I will be honest, Flash in a Superman episode would be amazing. Well, okay. Can I address this for a second? Because I know people always drag on the Flash when it comes to its VFX, and here's what I will say: this is a show in its 8th season. TV shows are not cheap to make, and let me warn you, not as a friend, just as a fact. If you think Superman Lois is going to look like this when they get to season 5 or 6 or 7, hate to break it to you, they won't look like that.
No,
because every season budgets gets trimmed. Because you can't let's say for this, if Jordan is I give Jordan a budget for something that that needs to be worth 100%, and he only delivers me something that only gets an 80% result. Why would I then for the next time give him 100% type of resource?
Mm-hmm.
When that project can only maybe get to 80% of something, they get budget or justified to the result they have. Now, of course, there's all these kind of things we have to look at: HBO Max, DVR numbers, Live Plus Free, Live Plus 7, iTunes numbers, and so on. Because people you can actually buy these episodes the next day. So, and also CWTV numbers, the app. So, but the Flash has looked better, of course. But the thing is, we should just be grateful that we have these shows, because 20 years ago, we had Smallville, and that was it. Smallville looks amazing still today, but Smallville, because back then, networks, they did not believe in TV, superhero properties. They were like, fuck us an Arrowverse. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do a shared universe. We're not going to have crossovers. There you go. Iron Man or Batman animated series. That is such a specific two choices.
It's very specific.
Jennifer just woke up to be like, I chose violence.
I chose violence.
Oh my god! Because if Iron Man does not happen,
yeah, because there's no MCU is not the same, and if Batman animated series is gone, then there's no connected animated stuff.
The thing is, that the animated universe, the thing that it went away so fast.
Yeah,
that
MCU has been lasting so long. Yeah,
I probably could have lived without Batman animated series. Honestly, that's just my opinion. Because it's a super. I'm gonna give her
shame.
I will bitch slap into the next century if you.
No,
keep,
you
if
will not. It's a good little boy. He's a good little boy.
You try. It could be a her. It could be non-binary. Like, how do you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
I remember the ladybug incident. I remember. It's a video on my channel. I was on a podcast and there was a ladybug and I was trying to get rid of it and it kept coming back alive.
Please tell me you didn't get freaked out by a ladybug.
No, I didn't freak out. I was just having fun with it,
good.
and it's a really stupid video, but it's been on for years. But the fact that he remembers that is crazy. No super chat. No super chat. Holy crap! Thank you guys so much. Been a lot of support tonight. Thank you guys so much. I mean,
yeah, but that doesn't mean budgets will still be the same.
Yeah.
You can still write great script because writing a script that doesn't like cost like $5 million or something like that. But having good special effects or having great locations, so on, that costs you a good buck. So like writing. I mean, yeah, writing will be great. I'm sure it will be if they keep it like they're doing right now. But it's. But I think the writing will always be good. I think it's more that what budget will the CW give it?
Yeah, I get your point. Certain shots would definitely look different for sure. I mean, it's just like when Flash and Supergirl crossed over. I didn't see a difference when Flash crossed over to Supergirl. I feel like the effects were pretty much the same. So, I don't think it's gonna last 8 to 10.
No, I think these are actors that will probably be. I could say but although I have no idea, but I could see season 7 at least because how old are the boys right now in high school? Like what year is this in? I will look it up. Hold on, I will look it up. Hold on.
The actual actors or the characters?
No, the characters, of course.
15. I think they're 15.
They're 15. So what year is that? And what year in high school is that? Is that second for freshman year?
I think it's junior. Wait.
Hold on, I will look it up. Hold on.
It fluctuates depending on what time of year you were born.
He was born 2006.
And
remember, they are twins, so they're born 2006 as well.
I don't know. They're saying freshman is 9, but I mean, I feel like they're probably grade 10 or 11. I don't know. I don't remember. I think they might have mentioned it at one point. I can't remember. I really don't pay too much attention to that in terms of like what grade are they in. It doesn't matter.
Smallville Crow. Let me check because he talked about Jonathan talked about playing varsity football in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying that they're in their sophomore year, so year 2, right?
10th grade, yeah. Year 2, yeah, the second year.
Who the fuck says 10th grade? You're saying sophomore year.
Here where we are, where everybody else is in the world. Kidding. Where I am, it's 10th grade, sophomore. It's interchangeable.
Okay, you do.
You need to just.
It's because I went to like a very I mean, I guess my high school was kind of elitist, which was not. I don't know how I ended up there.
I agree with this question. I agree. They should just get the guy who played in The Greatest Showman to play Wolverine. He's really good. Really good actor.
But that's huge. Oh,
that was the joke. No, we appreciate super chats. Thank you so much for supporting.
Yeah, don't stop. Yeah, well, thank you.
Thank you. But no, I mean, people are just throwing in. We're just answering questions. I think we're gonna start winding down in a few minutes. Where are we at right now in terms of?
We're at 35.
40. Can we get to 40 likes before we cut down, before we wind down the stream, guys? Can we get to 40 likes? Be really appreciative. We're trying to hit a goal. I'd be really appreciative, guys, if we could hit 40 likes on this stream. Yes, I do own some. I actually have a 50-year commemoration of Batgirl where it's like a bunch of different comics in one graphic novel, like from the different eras. It's really cool. But I got some.
I own it. Do I own a Batgirl comics? I do digitally. I do not have any. No, not in print. No, I don't have it in print.
40 likes. Let's get to 40.
40 likes.
40 likes.
But Let me look. It might just be me, but I prefer 5 intro compared to 10. But if the story's still interesting and tell more story, then it's okay. Okay. Let me bring up
I
why
agree
I
with
was talking about I was talking about high school, because if we see them in college, I wonder like what life is going to be like. Does that mean that Clark and Lois will still be in Smallville and they go to like Smallville? I mean, I don't know what universe. I don't know where they would go.
Is
But I think
there a college nearby?
sorry.
Is there a college nearby that the kids can go to if they want to go to college?
Yeah, but I think the thing is that I think people like the reason I think there's more interest for them as why they specifically make them teenagers is because I think there's the younger I don't know like how much college people are watching these DC shows.
Mhm.
But I think 560 I think is a good number. But if they still have good stories, just don't drag it out. We don't need another supernatural. A super chat from Jennifer.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Also, he's trying to silence you, girl. He's trying to silence you.
no, I was
Mhm.
just pointing out because it's a good point about Hogwarts, but
I've only seen the new Power Rangers movie, and like because I didn't grow up with Power Rangers, and I sobbed like crazy watching it because I was in Anaheim for WonderCon, and I was with my best bud Sean, and he's a huge Power Rangers fan, and they and I was like, can we go see Power Rangers? And they were like, okay, we can. I mean, I've already seen like 3 or 4 times, but you're gonna see it with me. So and because the Blue Ranger Billy became my favorite because that was the first time in a very long time that they portrayed an autistic character or someone on the spectrum in a really, really good way. I think it felt very believable. But dude, when they killed him off, I got so angry. I was sobbing, crying, and I whispered to Sean, if they fucking killed him off for that stupid Tommy kid or whatever their name is, I'm leaving this here. He's like, Annie, shut up, calm down. Just keep watching. It was so funny.
I haven't seen the movie, so there you go. So thanks for spoiling. Okay, I haven't seen the movie, but I watched like the early shows when I was younger, but I haven't. I really didn't get into it too much. In terms of your point about parents are really dumb for sending their kids to Hogwarts because shit happens every year, especially with Harry. All the parents should know. Let's not put our fucking kids in that school. Wait, what'd you say? What?
Suit me up, Uncle Alfred.
What? Okay. Thank you, Fake Dick, for the super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for super chatting tonight. Thank you. What actor had the best redemption from a bad comic book movie role to a great one? Not Jared Leto. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. That was Jared when they came to him with the Morbius scripts. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So
a bad comic book movie to a great comic. I guess Chris Evans, because I mean,
oh yeah,
I like him as Human Torch, but those movies did get worse. No, hold on. Michael B. Jordan.
Oh yes, perfect.
Yes, his Human Torch wasn't a problem. That whole movie was, but he became Killmonger. So I'm trying to think.
That's a good point. I would say
I could say one thing that would make people
go for it.
Me, though.
Go for it.
Random run from Superman to the Atom. Let me explain.
I mean,
he didn't. That movie is shit. That whole movie is horrible. Everyone in that movie besides Brandon is horribly miscast. And you know specifically which one we're talking about. And the director can go fuck themselves. But
Ryan Reynolds.
There's Ryan Reynolds. There's also Ryan Reynolds. There's a lot of options.
Thank you for supporting. Thank you.
Fake
Dick, how are you doing? She's asking you, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well with your recovery and everything. And also, since we're referring to Fake Jake here, and thank you, Jennifer, for once again supporting. I think, look, BVS Ultimate Edition is far superior than the theatrical cut. I think the Daredevil extended director's cut is way better than the theatrical cut.
It's so much better. Is it streaming anywhere?
I don't know. I actually have the DVD of the director's cut of that.
No, what, Miana? What do you not agree with me on?
I guess I don't know.
What did I say now?
What did you say? I don't know.
I said so many things, and like this is the problem. I talk so fast that like it's a wonder I haven't like passed it on the floor and just like but who knows? I just It's fine, whatever. I will admit the airplane sequence is kind of cool, but that movie is trash. Go watch Man of Steel instead on HBO Max.
Okay, guys. Looks like
what Daredevil face?
I'm not sure. Because
Ben doesn't really emote a lot in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Elektra, and then what did she play?
And what was she in? Jennifer Gardner?
Because Alias is not a comic book show.
I have no idea. Okay, I think this will be our last question for tonight. Right here, the super chat from Jennifer. I think it's a good question to end on. Thank you once again, Jennifer, for the super chat. Thor: The Dark World. I know it ties into Endgame, but look, that movie was just no.
Eternals.
Oh, there you go. There's a take.
I actually, because it took me like 2 weeks to get through. Oh my, not 2 weeks, like a week for me to get through Eternals.
That's
but for Dark World, like, there's these like, first of all, Kat Dennings. I'll watch any Marvel movie with Kat Dennings because she's fucking amazing. Darcy is queen. Everyone who doesn't know it, you need to go watch WandaVision and actually understand how great she is. But Eternals for me, I'm just like, listen, I'm all for diversity. I'm all for expanding with different roles. But like for me, this movie is so pretentious. It is so full of itself. Like, it's like, I don't know if it's trying to fuck itself and just show how proud they are, or if they're just trying to be like, listen. What?
It's trying to fuck itself.
I'm proud of it. I don't know if. Wow. Come on, okay, you don't have to kiss butts. Like, it was not that good.
That's
Come
fucking
on.
funny. That was funny. God damn it, that was funny.
Jennifer, bless
One
you.
last clip. Go for it.
I get to
Jennifer,
pick.
She super chatted. One last clip. What's your clip you're gonna play?
Okay.
Make it a short one. We gotta wrap this thing up.
Well, if they keep sending in super chats, then it's okay. Okay. This is a minute, but it's, it will go quickly. But this is when, like, I again caught myself going, oh shit, my face was giving away that I knew about the Joker for way too longer than I should have. So enjoy this. Do
you think the Joker will show up at the end of the Batman? I don't know. If he does, I think it's going to be really interesting. But I feel like Matt Reeves may not want to pull that card out just yet. Joker. I don't think he's going to want to do that in the first film. I could be wrong, but there's been a lot of rumors of, like, literally... like they're gonna have a whole Arkham thing with teasing villains that we could see. What do you think? Do you think we'll see the Joker, or do you think they're gonna be? Well, I mean, Joker as in they may in any form of tease, whether it's showing him, not showing him, but saying something that definitely is a reference to Joker. Do you think they'll do it in the first movie? He's having to really think.
I can't talk about it.
Damn. There you go, people. You can't talk about it. That's unfortunate. It's all good, though. It's all good.
The chipmunk voice. I cannot.
I don't know.
Again, I was like, who is watching me right now, and what am I actually, like, legally allowed to say with that? It doesn't get me, like, shot in the head.
Please keep us updated, because he actually put a point that he's still hanging there. He still has 3 sutures and can't work, but that it should be fixed by the end of the month. Awesome.
Good.
Please keep us updated. We want to thank you guys so much for being here for Endless Multiverse number 9. We're hoping, obviously, episode 10 is next week. We'll be hopefully having a celebration. Don't know, obviously, depending on the topics. We'll cover topics. But we want to thank for everybody who super chatted like crazy. I want to thank you guys so much for supporting the show. It really means a lot to us. It really does. Thank you guys so much. We can't stress that enough. I mean, we're here to have fun, talk about topics, and just to cover the news and just to talk to you guys. And it's cool that we've now started to build a community of people checking out In This Multiverse every week. we're going to continue to keep doing it until the wheels fall off and it's over. It's done. And then, you know, when we're sitting there,
until one of us dies, and then just, you know,
and then when that happens, this is going to happen to us, and it will be an honor. But until then,
you want to die like that?
I mean, look, if we're going to keep doing this until we're 80, then yeah, sure, okay.
Just a reminder, guys. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification so you know when we go live with, you know, when the events show up on YouTube. You can also, of course, watch all of his reactions and interviews and so on. All of our link, all the things we mentioned tonight are in the show notes. So like, you can follow us, you can subscribe to us, you can follow. Wow.
Exactly. We thank you for being here, and eventually, yeah, we're thinking of having guests. We will just have to prepare for that. I think we're still trying to get our footing, but once we know exactly how, because there's still tweaks that we make to the show. But I think right now we have a pretty good format. Obviously, this episode, we had super chats coming in. It really we got off the rails.
We love
but
that because it helps support us. It helps support us.
But you know, it's all good.
Here's Rooney. I know what I have done. So I'm kidding. No, but no, of course, we hope that, here's in all seriousness, I hope we're all good. Wow, thank you. But I hope again, we can have different opinions, but you know, there's no need to because art is, I don't know, I think Jake said it himself before, like, art is subjective. So, you know, you can like what you like and dislike what you like, and the same with us. And we love you guys for showing up. So
thank you guys so much. We'll be here next Friday, episode 10. It's gonna be a celebratory thing because we actually got to 10 episodes. So make sure you're hidden. Okay.
I can't tell if they're serious or not, but
I'll be honest with you. I really don't care. Anyways, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We thank you guys for the support. And even though, even if you really are mad at Hero, thank you for, sorry about that, getting a new beanie. I have plenty of beanies. We do thank you for the super chat. We hope we can resolve whatever. We do thank you for the super chat. It really meant a lot to us. Thank you, Real T.
We've been so excited.
Thank you for the super chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be here next Friday. Okay, he's being serious. Okay, well, hopefully we'll resolve it one day. Maybe. Okay, say it.
Oh, me? Okay. Oh, I need water. Hold on. I haven't
drink that water.
That doesn't work anyway.
You can't look up the darkness.
I should probably find that clip and have that as a clip.
Yeah, because he looks so overly dramatic. It's funny.
People can have opinions. That's what we're going to end on. We all have different opinions. We're all here. We love each and every one of you, even if you're mad at us for our opinions or whatever. Sorry to the people that have issues. We're trying our best here. We can't please everybody. Yes, exactly.
Wait, will they resolve the tension? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z Kai. 7 Central on the CW.
I can hear the voice. Will they the music? Will they resolve the tension? It's like there's so much build up and nothing happened. The episodes are build up to like the next episode. That's exactly what it was. Anyways, guys, we will go. Talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody. Bye, Gracie.